Hey guys, and down here, this is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, the 7 Deadly Sins 286 Flash. Now, it's been a long time since I've described the chapter as bad in Nanatsu no Taizai for any of the manga chapters that I've read. Actually, it's been for any of the manga that I read in general. I mean, like, for Boku no Hero, Nanatsu no Taizai, One Punch Man especially, and One Piece. I mean, like, this chapter was no exception to all of those amazing series. It was a good chapter and I really liked it. And we started with the 6 warriors kind of gazing lovingly into each other's eyes until Eskimo makes a swipe at Chandler. And the force of the attack, I'm just trying to move forward here because I'm slipping back. The force of the attack sends a shockwave across the demons, with both Zeldris and Cusack dodging in their own specific way. Cusack flying up and Zeldris just kind of going, oh, nope, not today. And Chandler just blocks the attack with his staff one-handed, looking less than impressed, but also looking awesome as hell at the same time. And Chandler is an absolute boss. So Chandler's looking less than impressed. That is until Escanor kind of shows him that the attack was actually aimed at the giant cocoon that Meliodas is inside of. And obviously Chandler goes apeshit because he's just like, oh, anybody that touches the young master, and he goes kind of all fatherly figure / weird teacher kind of guy all over Meliodas. But Merlin intervenes here with a magical attack of her own called Double Impact, which looks to be some sort of concussion shot aimed at all 3 of the demons. It's quite a large area, but it's aimed at all 3 of the demons at the same time. And all 3 of the demons, so Zeldris, Cusack, and Chandler, completely shrug off the attack. They just completely tank it, and they recognize Merlin for who she is, the lady who deceived both the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. You know, when we were told a little bit about her backstory, when we find out that basically the demons and the goddesses found out about her ability, which is infinity, I think it is, or infinite, something like that, which allows her magic to be infinite. She can basically make any magical ability infinite. And that's why her magical capacity is the way it is. It's basically like she can just continuously use magic however much she wants. And when the demons and goddesses found out about that, they wanted her on their side of the war, because the city of Belialuin, or the city of Belialuin was kind of like a neutral ground for everyone. So when they found out about it, the Demon King and the Supreme Deity wanted it, but she tricked both of them. She kind of deceived both of them into thinking that she was going to join their side. So the Demon King awarded her with knowledge of the dark arts and stuff like that, demonic magic, and he granted her immunity against some form of I think it's some form of goddess. I think he granted her immunity against the influential magic of a goddess, and the Supreme Deity awarded her with immunity to the commandments and stuff like that. Which is why she was able to escape petrification of Garen's commandment. So they recognize her for who she is, this daughter of Belialuin, and they tell her how disappointed they are in her abilities, whilst she considers how monstrous they are in turn, revealing their power levels as they jump towards her. So Cusack is at 168,000 and Chandler is at 173,000. Now, I've never really liked the power level trope. I think I've mentioned it multiple times over my reviews, but I feel there is a point to it being utilized at this point in time in this chapter, seeing where we are. And I'll come back to that probably later if I remember. Also, are Chandler and Cusack even at full power right now? I mean, we know that the demons come out of the coffin of eternal darkness considerably weakened. So how much stronger should they be? I mean, they haven't consumed a whole bunch of souls and stuff and regained their complete power. So I'm not sure if this is their top level, or if this is just their current level, and they should usually be around Rudusiel's level. You'd think they'd be somewhere near Rudusiel's level, probably a little bit lower, but they are top class demons, which is, you'd expect at Rudusiel's level possibly. So Escanor steps in to shield Merlin, and he gets knocked back and thinks that Merlin's about to get wrecked. And I was like, boy, Merlin's not about to get wrecked by her one. So Merlin snaps her fingers and sends both the top class demons reeling, commenting on the fact that obtaining some way to return Meliodas to his normal form is more important than some numbers that she can see representing power. So she's saying that their power levels mean jack and shit. Chandler and Cusack then label Merlin's technique as something strange. I was quite surprised by that. seeing as Chandler would say, like, why would Chandler say something like that? I swear he's meant to be a magician or someone who's viewed as quite magically apt. I think he's like, I swear he's meant to be like one of the best magicians in the demon clan. I can't remember where I got that from, but his use of absolute cancel and stuff like that suggests he's a very able magician. So I was surprised that he didn't know about the like this technique, but I suppose just because he's just because he's able to use demonic magics doesn't mean he's seen all varieties of magics and spells. But this didn't look to be some sort of like hidden technique either, so maybe it's just something new that he hasn't seen before. So Rudusiel then takes his turn to smack Cusack and Chandler into opposing walls, and they recognize Rudusiel by his technique. They're just like, oh my god, is this really Rudusiel the Flash? But they're generally unharmed. They're actually very unharmed by the attack. And Merlin then gives us a sneak peek at Rudusiel's power level, which is at about 201,000, which is quite high. But once again, they're vague kind of levels. They don't really mean much. So we then get an awesome kind of dick measuring contest with Rudusiel saying that he's heard that Zeldris is meant to have the fastest swordplay in all of the underworld. And they both unleash some like rapid slashes, both looking like they'd hardly or barely moved. I mean, like Zeldris, it looks like his sword is still in its scabbard. Rudusiel, his sword is still hanging by his side. They're moving at light speed, and they both nick each other on the cheek, like for like, until Zeldris gets wounded beneath the shoulder, beneath his right shoulder, I think it is, and quite a lot of blood just goes and just flies out. And it's just a flesh wound for someone like Zeldris. I mean, like really, he's not damaged by this at all. But it pisses Cusack off because it's the prince, and because he views him as like the rightful heir, and he's very loyal to him. It pisses him off. So Rudusiel and Zeldris kind of feel here that their swords aren't sharp enough to really damage each other, so they start to spit major fire at each other instead. I was like, yeah, that's the way to do it. If your swords can't really kill each other, yeah, just spit major burns and fire at each other. That's the way to go. So Rudusiel questions Zeldris' honor, saying, how could you harm a woman's face? How could you wound a woman's face? And what did your brother teach you about handling women? What's your brother like if he couldn't even teach you how to act around women? And Zeldris just destroys Rudusiel, puts him down, gets him to sit his ass down by saying, at least my brother doesn't go around possessing random women. And I was like, oh my god. So that was a burn. He got wrecked. So suddenly out of nowhere, Hendrickson, like friggin' Randy Orton, just tackles Rudusiel, saving him from Cusack coming in like having gone apeshit, and the ground explodes and stuff like that. And essentially Hendrickson kind of saves Rudusiel, but not really. Rudusiel is kind of momentarily pissed off because he feels that he goaded Cusack into attacking him, and maybe he could have countered his attack or something, much like he does to Zeldris in a few pages. Actually, on the next page. However, Rudusiel does actually show his merciful side here, and possibly manipulative side. There's always a manipulative undertone to whatever Rudusiel does, and he heals Hendrickson of his wound, telling him to sit tight while the adults play. So Zeldris moves in for the kill while all this is going on, but he gets hit full frontal by a sparkly attack from Rudusiel, and Rudusiel thinks, he's like, yeah, this is gonna hurt. You're gonna feel the burn of my grace and stuff like that. You're gonna be in agony. So he thinks that he's actually hurting Zeldris here, but he gets to see firsthand the power of the Demon King in Zeldris as the representative of the Demon King. Now he's impressed by the power of the Demon King being to obviously it was inverse, so whatever is designed to hurt Zeldris instead heals him and stuff like that. Actually, I didn't check, but I didn't even check. Oh my god! But check for me if. So this is on you guys now. Check for me if Zeldris' cut on his cheek heals, and if his cut on his arm heals. Because technically, if he's being damaged by Rudusiel's attack, he should be getting kind of like a power boost or healed instead. So it would be a good idea. It would be a good idea to check if his cuts healed because of Rudusiel's attack. That would be because of the properties of inverse, which is the Demon King's ability. So this impresses Rudusiel, and Zeldris then raises his hand kind of parallel to the ground, kind of like that, and he's got his sword at his side. And both Chandler and Cusack, as soon as they see this stance, they're immediately afraid, and they leap backwards, creating space between themselves and Zeldris, and they're both just like, oh shit, if he's actually going to do that, and like it's going to go apeshit, shit's going to go down. And Chandler is just there like, I wish he would have told us he was going to do this, as if like some major shit's going to go down. So assume major shit to go down, because Zeldris then says he's about to unleash his true original power, taking a very kind of Senbon Zakura kind of stance for all the Bleach fans out there. Now, the author's note here says that Zeldris' power, his own innate power, which I assume he's going to release. So it's only him and Meliodas which haven't shown their innate powers at the moment, and maybe Chandler and Cusack. So quite a few people actually. But the author's side note here says, well, it's not even a side note. It's right in the middle of the page. Says that Zeldris' power is contradictory to the Demon King's power. So what could it be? Is it like the opposite of inverse? Like if you hit him with an attack that's meant to heal him or something, he's gonna die from it. I don't know, it's not something like that, but it seems to be contradictory to whatever the Demon King has, which is inverse. So make of that what you will. That's basically the end of my review. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter, let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Actually, this is going to be coming out on Friday, and I'm recording this Thursday night, so make of that what you will, but it's coming out. See you guys later.